Welcome. In today's session, we will delve into two critical aspects in the context of rural marketing: targeting and positioning. After understanding how to segment the vast rural market, the next logical and vital step is to decide which segments to focus on and how to present our offering to them effectively. Let's begin. By the end of this lecture, you should be able to grasp the significance and mechanics of targeting specifically for rural markets. We will cover how to evaluate potential segments, make informed selection choices, and decide on the appropriate market coverage. Furthermore, although today focus is primarily on targeting, we'll touch upon how this leads to positioning, creating a distinct image for your brand, and the importance of clear communication in the rural context. So, what exactly is targeting? Once we have divided the larger rural market into smaller, more manageable groups or segments based on shared characteristics, targeting is the process of choosing which of these specific segments the company will aim its products, services, and marketing efforts towards. This selection is vital because resources are always limited and not every segments offer the same potential, especially in rural India where diversity is immense. Focusing your energy on the most promising customer groups is key to success. The process of targeting typically involves three distinct steps. First comes evaluation. Here we carefully examine each identified market segments. We look at factors like its size, growth prospects, purchasing power, and critically, how well it aligns with our company's own goals and capabilities. Second is selection. Based on the evaluation, we choose the segment or segments that appear more promising and where we believe we can effectively meet customer needs. Finally, we decide on coverage, determining the scope of our market engagement. Will we focus intensely on just one segment, select a few specific segments, or attempt or reach the entire market? When evaluating segments, we primarily look at two aspects. The first is overall attractiveness of the segment itself. We assess this using several factors. Size tells us about the potential customer base, growth rate indicates future opportunities, accessibility is crucial in rural areas. Can we actually reach these customers efficiently through distribution and communication channels? Profitability assesses the earning potential, considering that margins might be lower. Scale economics explores if producing more for these segments lowers cost, and finally, low risk considers the stability and safety of entering this segment. Importantly, for this rural market, don't be misled by size alone. While the population is large, individuals' purchasing power might be low. Therefore, assessing the growth potential like the rapid expansion seen in FMCG or low cost appliances is equally vital. The second aspect of evaluation involves looking inward at the company itself. Does targeting this segment fit with our overall company objectives and resource competencies? Is pursuing this rural segment aligned with our strategic goals like long term growth and customer base expansion? Companies like Asian Paints and HUL demonstrate the success of proactively reaching rural customers. Furthermore, we must honestly assess if we possess the required resources like financial, human, and infrastructural, and the specific skills needed to navigate the unique challenges of rural logistics, communication, and consumer behavior. Jumping in unprepared can be costly. Therefore, a highly recommended approach is to begin with small pilot projects. These allow companies to understand consumer behavior, test product acceptance, and identify operational hurdles on a smaller scale, minimizing risk before major investments. HUL's Project Shakti and ITC's eChaupal are classic examples of successful pilot initiatives that evolved into large scale models. Once the evaluation is complete for all potential segments, the next step is selection. A systematic way to do this is to rate each segment, perhaps as low, medium, or high. Against each of these evaluation factors we discussed, like size, growth, accessibility, and profitability. By summing up these ratings, we can calculate an overall score for every segments. These segments achieving the highest scores are generally considered the most valuable, most favorable candidates for targeting. This structured approach helps ensure that the selection is based on objective analysis rather than intuition, which is particularly valuable in the complex rural landscape. It minimizes the risk of choosing a segment that looks appealing superficially but might be difficult or unprofitable to serve. Having selected the target segment or segments, the final step is the targeting process is deciding on the coverage strategy. This essentially answers the question how broadly or narrowly will we approach the market. There are three primary strategies companies can adopt, each with its own implications. First, we have undifferentiated marketing, often called mass marketing. Here, the company chooses to ignore segment differences and focuses on what customers have in common. It offers a single standard product to everyone, supported by mass distribution and mass advertising. The main advantage is significant cost saving across the board in research, production, inventory, transport, and promotion. These savings can be passed on to customers through lower prices, a major plus in price sensitive rural markets. Ghadi detergent is a prime example, offering one core product nationwide. Coca-Cola's famous Thanda Matlab Coca-Cola campaign also used a universal message. This strategy works best when customers' needs are relatively uniform, but it can falter if distinct preferences exist within the market. The second approach is differentiated marketing or targeted marketing. In contrast to previous strategy, this one focuses on the differences between customer segments. The company identifies multiple target segments and designs specific products, services, or marketing mixes for each one. This often leads to a stronger connection between the brand and the customers as the offering feel tailor made. While it usually results in higher cost due to managing multiple products and campaigns, it also typically generates higher overall sales and fosters greater customer loyalty. Lifebuoy soap is a good illustration. Starting as a mass market product, it later introduced distinct variants like Active Raid, Plus, and Gold to cater to different customer preferences within the rural market. This strategy is particularly well suited to diverse environments like rural India, where needs and preferences can vary significantly. Our third strategy is concentrated marketing. also known as niche marketing. Here, a company that directs all its efforts towards capturing a large share of one specific, often small, segment or niche. However, applying this purely in the vast fragmented rural market can be challenging. A single niche market can be too small or too geographically dispersed, making it expensive to reach effectively and potentially yielding a low return on investment. Furthermore, relying solely on one segment carries risk if that segment's taste and needs evolve. Therefore, in the rural context, while companies do target specific groups, a multi-segment strategy targeting several distinct segments simultaneously is often more practical and robust. Hindustan Unilever exemplifies this well. Rather than focusing on just one niche, it offers a portfolio of brands like Breeze, Lux, Liril, and Ayush, each designed to appeal to different specific groups within the broader rural market. So, how does a company choose between undifferentiated, differentiated, and concentrated marketing? The decision depends on carefully considering four key factors. First, company resources. How much money, staff, capability does the company have? Limited resources might necessitate a more focused, concentrated approach, while ample resources can support a complex, differentiated strategy. Second, product variability. Is the product itself uniform, like basic commodities, or does it allow for variation, like tractor or soaps? Uniformity favors undifferentiated marketing, while potential for variation supports differentiation. Third, the product's life cycle stage. Is the product new, growing, mature, or declining? Introduction stages might use undifferentiated or concentrated approaches, while the growth stage often benefits from differentiation. Finally, market variability. Are consumer needs and preferences largely similar or highly diverse? Low variability suit undifferentiated marketing, whereas high variability often demands a differentiated or concentrated approach. This slide summarizes how the factors align with the strategies. For instance, undifferentiated marketing fits best with moderate resources, low product variability, perhaps the introduction stage, and low market variability. Differentiated marketing typically requires large resources, supports high product variability, suits the growth stage, and addresses high market variability. Concentrated marketing can work with limited resources but suits less product variability and high market variability, often in introduction or maturity stages. Let's take an example. Tractor companies like Mahindra and Mahindra generally employs a differentiated strategy. Why? They possess strong resources, their product varies significantly, offering different models for diverse farming needs. Tractors are often in growth stage as mechanization increases, and there's high market variability among farmers based on land size, crop, and usage patterns. This alignment makes differentiated marketing the logical choices for them. So, dear learners, here we have finished the rural targeting part. We'll continue the second part of the video lecture. Thank you.